Hello book lovers! Today I'm going to talk about bookish pet peeves, or better to be said, things that really annoy me when I read a book. So I've separated my bookish pet peeves into two parts. In the first one I'm going to talk about all those things in the general plot that annoy me. And when I say plot I also mean characters and the book itself, like the story. And the other part of my discussion will be about the physical book, or how the book looks like. So let's get started. First I'm going to talk about story in general. And what really annoys me when I read the book is when characters aren't well described. Or only the main character is well described and you can put finger on everything about him or her. It's like you really know him or her, but all the other characters, supportive characters, are not so well described. And I really hate that because, in my opinion, what describes all the story and everything are characters, and without them the story itself can't be really interesting. My second bookish pet peeve is that I hate when the writer only tells us certain things. He or she doesn't describe them. And for example, he just says about some of his character that he's selfish or something like that, but I would like more if it hasn't been said, but if he gave us some example of that, or during the story we have to figure out for ourselves how this character is, how she or he is brave or smart or anything. What I really don't like is when some characters in books have something unusual or something we couldn't really see in the real world, only because writer thought that their characters should stand out in some way. For example, when character has pink hair or something like that, and we don't really have any explanation. The only reason for that is for that character to stand out. Then I hate when the books have too many point of views and none of them is really well told, and when we have to skip from one to another. Then, and I think we all know the example for this one, when the main character is killed at the end of book without really reason for it. And I'm not going to say the title of this book. I was really disappointed at the end of the trilogy, and I'm sure that all of you are aware of the book I'm talking about. What really annoys me is when we have a fantasy book, for example, and when the characters in the fantasy book that we are reading have some ordinary names. And in this whole new world full of different animals, plants, customs or anything like that, we have someone named Anna or something like that, some ordinary name. And I hate, for example, when in some book which happens in our world, we have some character who has some unusual name or something like that. And I'll have to give you an example of this, because I read the book Pushing the Limits, I think it's called, and the main character is named Echo or something like that, and I found it really ridiculous, and I really found it difficult to continue reading, and it just annoyed me. What I really don't like in a book is, and I think that many people don't like that, is insta-love, which means that two characters fall in love without any reason at the beginning of the book, and after, I don't know, maybe 50 pages or something like that, they would kill everyone for each other and they would die for one another, and I'm not really sure if you get what I'm saying, but I think that you do. Then what I hate in a book is, okay, when the author decides to pair every character with some other character, and then we end up having many marriage couples and many babies at the end of the book. I really hate that. What I hate about some books is when the whole plot centers around whether or not two main characters are going to hook up with one another. So I think we know some examples, but is Chase going to have sex with Clary at the end of third book? I wonder. Anyways, that would be all for the plot thing and the story building thing and everything. And now I'm going to tell you what things I hate about the physical books. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is how much I hate hardback books. I know that many people love hardbacks and everything, but I just can't stand those. And I'm going to give you an explanation why is that so. So, I brought one book with me. This is The Magician's Apprentice by Trudy Canavan, one of my favorite authors and one of my favorite books. And as you can see, this book is bigger than my head, which means that it's too big, and it's also heavy that I can barely hold it in my hands. And if I open it and try to read it, I can barely do it because it's just, like I said, it's too big and too heavy. And you could kill someone with this book. Look how heavy it is. Especially with this and sharp edges and everything. So if I ever catch a burglar in my house, I think that I know which weapon would I use. I mean, if you hit someone with this book, you could kill them. Why I hate those hardbacks? Because when I start reading them, I don't really know what to do with this outer cover. What its name is Dust Jacket. Yes, it's called Dust Jacket. So I don't know if I should leave it on or should I take it off. I try reading without taking it off, and I can't read like that, so I take it off, and what do I do with it? I put it on a shelf to collect dust. I think that it is why it's called Dust Jacket. The other thing that I hate about hardcovers is that usually those books would be much smaller if they were in paperbacks, and the font is too large, and so I got an impression that I read those books too quickly and I spent too much money on buying them. So, and also if all of my books were in hardback, I really don't know where I'd put those books, because even all of my books are in paperback, my shelves are too small for them. Then what I really don't like about books is when the cover don't match. Here I've got City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls. And when you put those books together, this is what you get. And when the third book comes out, or sixth one, I don't know what you'd like to call it, it will probably look like this one or like this one, and they're going to look like disaster on my bookshelf, and that is what I really hate. What else would I like to tell you? I think that would be all. I've even made some notes about what I wanted to tell you, and I think that would be all. So if you agree with me, or you think that something that I've mentioned is not like you think it is, what did I say? I'm not sure even myself. Anyways, if you wanted to discuss any of my opinions on books and plots and everything that I hate in a book, or anything that I could possibly hate in a book, please leave your comment and I'd really like to discuss it with you. And if you liked my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.